I have had a wash. I have washed my hair. I have not been made 100% homeless yet. What I want to emphasize is that the company I've rented this property off, Northern Homes, have Section 21'd me and my children. So up until I go to court, which is what I've decided I'm going to do, I am still painstakingly trying to get legal advice about that. I have spoken to Shelter. I have spoken to the Citizens Advice Bureau. I have spoken to the Homeless Prevention Team for Nuneaton and Bedworth Borough Council with little or no support or guidance. And it is, like I said, there's just not enough information out there to support people or legal grounds at this moment in time to protect you. So I am making the most of the facilities. After all, I have paid for the heating for this property, and I'll be damned if I am going to leave a single penny on these meters when I leave. The other thing is, if you are metered, which in most private rented properties or council properties or even housing association properties you are, the moment you leave or you are forced to vacate the premises, make sure you contact your energy provider. Otherwise, you may be liable or may end up occurring charges after you leave. And it'll be something like the standard daily charge that they charge you in order to have the meter active. So just be careful. What I will do is I will contact them and I will say, at this moment in time, I have been Section 21. Can you please put it on my record? And when I leave, I will give you the meter readings. Also, take photos. Take photos of the numbers that are on your meters before you vacate the premises. All right, so that is very, very important that you do that. If you have tied into a contract with somebody and you've got Wi-Fi at the property, that is a little bit more complex. And this is why I've only ever done that twice with 2 properties, and it really screwed me over because they would not allow me to end my contract when I became homeless. I was still paying for internet once I had become homeless because my contract had not expired. And since then, everything that I do Wi-Fi is through my phone. It's cheaper. It's not always effective. There is a few pros and cons with having Wi-Fi and using your phone, but I'm not tied into a contract where hello, good morning. If I am made homeless, then I'm not paying for Wi-Fi at the property I no longer live at. So that's another thing you've got to be careful of. Again, rolling contracts. If you've got contracts with Amazon or Disney or Netflix or any subscribing contracts, the moment you are made homeless, yes, you will notify them of a different address or that you want to cancel your membership or even suspend your membership temporarily, but you still may occur charges within that month that you are then again responsible for paying. So when people say, oh, there's not really much to being homeless, there is so much paperwork to deal with. It is unbelievable. It's not just the case of kicking somebody out and saying, okay, there's the street, go and find somewhere else to live. You have got to change your billing address. You've got to change your doctor's surgery. That there are so many things you've got to do. And because I've been homeless before, I do know some of the things that need to be done. Because I've lived a nomadic lifestyle for a decade, again, I know the pros and cons of not having a fixed abode. But for the last 10 years, I have had bricks and mortar. I have had an address that I could potentially call home. And now I'm being fucked over by my landlord and by the local council. And at this moment in time, the last thing I'm thinking about is unsubscribing to an educational contract that I've paid for my child so that he can be homeschooled. Which means if possible, I will pass that contract on to a different address, but at the same time, for a month, in effect, I will still be paying for somewhere I don't live. I don't really know how that works. I mean, I may or I may not, but either way, if I was to cancel it, I'd still be paying. If I'm lucky enough to use a temporary address, then it works in my favour. So again, if you are struggling with housing or have been Section 21 or anything, please contact Citizens Advice Bureau, contact your local council to speak to the homeless prevention team, and contact Shelter and go on their website. So again, I will see what today brings. It's Tuesday, and I have a few meetings in and around where I'm currently living. A lot of them are online. So again, as long as I've got an internet connection, I can potentially do these meetings and support networking. But again, not everybody who is made homeless, hello, good morning, has internet access, has a mobile phone. That is a myth. Okay, the job centre just don't go, oh, because you haven't got anywhere to live, we'll give you a phone. No, it doesn't work like that. But what you can do is there are places, because I know Coventry have been advertising them, that where they call safe space. And if Nuneaton turns out to be an absolute shithole to the point where they are not supporting me with being homeless, then throughout the week, I will go to Cov. I'll come back to Nuneaton as and when I need to, but I will probably go to Coventry because I know in Coventry I can charge my phone. I know that there are places available for people who are homeless or struggling with, financially. There are places in Nuneaton that will also support you. And again, with their permission, I will check that I can advertise them on social media. But one of the places that I've always said that is absolutely amazing is Saints. Unfortunately, they're not open on a Monday, and they're not open on a Sunday. But they are open Tuesday to Friday, and they are absolutely amazing. They do so much for the community. Yes, they are sponsored and supported by Coventry Diocese. So again, that's where they got a lot of their funding from. So they are classed as a registered charity, but they have, as far as I know, they have never turned away somebody if they are homeless. Last time I was there was a lady sleeping on one of the sofas in the corner and nobody bothered her. She wasn't verbally abused. She wasn't shouted at. She wasn't told to move. She wasn't told to leave. Everybody just left her alone to sleep. And then when she felt comfortable to leave, she left. I myself even said to her, "Are you okay? Would you like a cup of tea? Would you like a breakfast?" And she said, "No, thank you very much. That's very nice of you to ask, but I'm okay. I'll go to the Salvation Army when they start serving free food. I just wanted somewhere to rest my head for a few hours." So again, Saints were absolutely amazing with this homeless lady. They let her just sleep on the sofa. And again, because the sofa was like pleatherette, when she'd gone, all they did was just spray the sofa and wipe it down. So it was extremely hygienic as well because it wasn't fabric. And they, like I said, nobody bothered her. Nobody threatened her. Nobody swore at her or told her to leave. Now, I've been in places where homeless people have come in and they've fallen asleep, like in places like McDonald's, and the security guards have turfed them out. But the last time I did actually see that happen, the homeless person was unfortunately completely intoxicated. So they should have phoned the police, but they didn't. He actually wet himself and pissed all over the floor. And then when he was told to leave, he started spitting at the staff. So I can see why the security within Coventry were called and asked him to leave. But at the same time, they should have thought about this person's welfare. And the police should have been called, if not the police, medical services. Because although he may have appeared drunk, he might not have been. He may have had epilepsy. He may have been diabetic. And sometimes there are illnesses and hidden disabilities that make people appear like they are intoxicated. So for safeguarding reasons, I do not think that somebody should just be chucked back out into the streets. By all means, ask them to vacate the property, but make sure that you phone 999 so that they can potentially do a welfare check on that person. So enjoy your day. Stay safe, stay well, stay warm. It was -1 last night, and it's only going to get colder over the next few days. So take care of you, and thank you for watching.